Hi, my name is Elena Mihaela, and I'm the first member of this group. So, in the first slide, we spoke about British Airways, like other airlines, is under pressure to reduce its environmental impact as aviation contributes around 2.5% of global CO2 emissions. The airline has pledged to achieve net zero carbon emissions by 2050 in line with the Paris agreement and UK government targets. As an industry leader, British Airlines was the first global airline group to commit to net zero emission, reinforcing its role in climate responsible aviation. British Airways, like other legacy airlines, face major challenges from climate change due to its high greenhouse gas emission. It is under growing pressure from regulators, the public, and customers who increasingly demand eco-friendly travel options. As a result, British Airways is being urged to offer carbon offset, use sustainable aviation fuels, and improve flight efficiency. Climate change affects British not only operationally but also financially and reputationally. To remain competitive and sustainable, British Airways must adapt through innovation, environmental initiative, and active engagement with stakeholders. British Airways faces physical risk from climate change that affect its supply chains, infrastructure, and operations. The risks include extreme weather events like storm and heavy rain, which can damage aircraft, disrupt flights, and affect airport operations, and temperature extremes, which reduce aircraft performance, potentially requiring cargo limits or longer runways, leading to higher fuel costs and reduced efficiency. Climate change intensifies traditional business risk for British Airways, including operational risk. Weather-related disruption can cause delays, cancellation, and increased maintenance, affecting service reliability and customer satisfaction. Financial risk, rising fuel use, climate adaptation costs, and higher insurance premium drive up expenses. Climate impact may also reduce demand on certain routes, affecting revenue. Reputation risk, with growing public concern over carbon emission, British Airways risk damaging its brand if it's seen as not taking sufficient environmental action. Liability risk for British Airways stem from potential legal consequences related to climate change, including climate litigations. Airlines may face lawsuits for contributing to emission or failing to disclose climate-related risk. Greenwashing, British could be fined or sued if its sustainability claims or offsetting efforts are found to be misleading. Regulatory non-compliance, failure to meet mandatory climate disclosure requirement under the UK's TCFD framework could result in legal or financial penalties.
In this slide, we provide a general overview of how the UK airline industry has responded to climate change over the past decade. Climate change has pushed airlines to embed sustainability into business operations through measures like net zero targets and operational efficiency improvements. British Airways and other major carriers have integrated environmental strategies that go beyond compliance, such as digital route optimization and investment in SAF or sustainable aviation fuel. Notably, IAG, British Airways' parent company, became the first European airline group to commit to net zero emission by 2050. These efforts are aligned with the national strategies like the UK government Jet Zero strategy. Importantly, these initiatives reflect a shift from environmental risk being seen as a compliance burden to being treated as a critical business risk and opportunities. Here we focus on how UK government policy has influenced and accelerated climate action in aviation. The Jet Zero strategy outlines aggressive decarbonisation targets, including 10% SAF sustainable aviation fuel used by 2030 and 50% by 2050. In April 2024, the UK implemented the world's first SAF mandate requiring 10% of fuel at major airports to be sustainable by 2030. The government has also committed funding over 400 million to scale SAF production and support zero-emission aviation technologies such as hydrogen propulsion and new fuel cell aircraft. This policy backing not only sets benchmarks but also reduces investment risk for private sector's stakeholders, thereby enabling long-term decarbonization across the aviation sector. This slide presents specific company level actions. British Airways pledged to use 10% SAF by 2030 and is collaborating with the project Speedbird to supply 102 million litres annually, avoiding approximately 230,000 tons of CO2. In 2023 alone, they used around 50,000 tons of SAF and are now exploring technologies like mineral weathering for carbon removal. Virgin Atlantic also made headlines with a 100% SAF powered transatlantic flight from Heathrow to New York, supported by the UK government. Meanwhile, EasyJet has offset all its flights since 2019 and is investing in new technologies, including electric hydrogen aircraft. These examples show that climate innovation in aviation is no longer just aspirational, it's happening now and shaping industry standards. This final slide compares competitive response and market emission data. Post-pandemic emission from major airlines like Ryanair and EasyJet surged. Ryanair's emission rose 20% in 2023 due to demand rebound and expanded operations. However, they are now investing in emissions, trading, and fuel efficiency. EasyJet leads in offsetting but still need to transition to true emission reductions. Jet2.com is lagging in SAF use and hydrogen planning. Virgin Atlantic is seen as a front runner, particularly after its 100% SAF powered flight. This comparison reveals a highly competitive and rapidly evolving landscape, with leaders innovating and laggards at risk of regulatory and reputational setbacks. The push for decarbonization is not optional, it's becoming a competitive necessity.